Hello
Well,
and welcome back to episode 2 of the Slide Job podcast. Today we are going to be recapping the Daytona Clash, or I don't know, was the Can-Am Clash? What is it? No, Can-Am Duels.
it's Advanced Auto Parts
And yeah, that.
Clash.
We're going to be recapping those, and there was a controversial ending. We'll get into that in a second. But we'll also be talking about the new package, and maybe if depending on time, maybe a little bit and go into the Daytona 500, but not huge because that is what our stream next weekend will be focused on. So um, let's get right into it. The first thing we want to talk about is the Clash, as I am pulling up the results right now. Um, Jimmy Johnson won and controversially won, which once again we'll get into here in a second. Kurt Busch got second, Joey Logano third, Ryan Blaney fourth, Alex Bowman fifth, Austin Dillon sixth, Chase Elliott seventh, Eric Almirola eighth, Ryan Newman ninth, Daniel Suarez 10th, Jamie McMurray 11th, Kevin Harvick 12th, Paul Menard 13th,
Who led the
Kyle
whole race?
14th, 15th, Martin Truex Jr., Clint Boyer 16th, Danny Hamlin 17th, Brad Keselowski 18th, Kyle Larson 19th, and Eric Jones finishing last. Now, it was a really boring race. Like, to kind of recap it, it started out, we went, what, 2 or 3 laps, and it was too wide, kind of good racing, then single file. Then it rained, had a 20-minute rain delay, went back, and Paul Menard is leading throughout all of this. Um, he takes the lead again, and I think we drive another 20 something laps, and then the no, then we drive to the
Controversial.
competition caution, which was about I believe
15
probably
laps.
about 15 to 20 laps. And it was all single file racing there, and then there was a little bit of strategy play there, but that I mean just strategy, or I don't know if it was really considered strategy if the entire entire field basically went on pit road. So then we went back from that, ran another 20 laps, and then the controversial wreck. Jimmy Johnson goes to the inside. If you guys have not seen it, go ahead and look at it. Um, I can't really in my opinion, it looks like I don't really hate Jimmy Johnson. I don't have anything against Jimmy Johnson for it. I don't really see he goes below and then he goes up, and I think he was trying to side draft or something or what, and he got into him, and then the 21 just turns down into him. So I don't know. I can't speak for Jimmy. I can't speak for Paul Menard. I see why people are mad at Jimmy, but I personally am not. That's really my thoughts. And then after the wreck,
You can't tell me any other driver would have tried to win in that place.
after the wreck, there was rain, and they just called it a day after. I think there was 20 laps to go in the race.
16.
Go ahead.
16 laps to go, but my opinion was Jimmy did not do anything wrong. I mean, it sucks that he had to win that way, but you can't tell me any other driver win. At least he tried to make a move at some point during the race. No one would try and pass Palmer the whole race, so at least he tried to pass him. He did something that no one else would do. They would have just stayed single file had that not happened.
Right, and that's the thing. That's something that has kind of gotten me nervous. If you watch the Talladega race last season, or the second one, it was super boring. It was complete domination and just single file. No, everybody was just big pussies and would not pass at all. And
Yeah.
kind of the same stuff happened again. So is this where super speedways are headed? If so, I think you have to take the second Daytona, the second Talladega, both Talladegas off, because that's just completely boring racing. Okay, keep the Talladega, but just have one super speedway race, because if that's the way we're going, though, if it goes back to two file, great. But if it's just going to be single file racing, what's the point in wasting 2 slots with just single file racing?
Of course, then we get a Mount. But anyway, I
Get it
think the
on
reason
track.
it was boring, one, these drivers have been in the actual race since November. So a lot of it was them getting back in the feel of a car again. They've been in a car in the draft since Talladega. Talladega last year um, was boring because no one wanted to ruin the chase in a Talladega race, and they saw how fast the four cars were. If you notice, like the Daytona 500, I don't remember much about the Coke Zero for some reason. That had a lot of X. If you pay attention to the Daytona 500 last year, it usually stays single file to about the end of stage two. Then stage three, they're like all
Well, I
file.
mean,
So I think it,
obviously you can't get rid of the Daytona 500 and you can't get rid of Talladega, but I think maybe we don't need the second races because if that's just what the racing is going to be like,
yeah.
complete wreck
I mean,
fest
even the Coke
or
Zero
single
400s.
file, I don't know if it's really worth it.
Yeah, I think the Coke Zero 400 is the best plate race all year for some reason. I don't know why, but it just always seems to be the most wreck filled. Because it's like mid season, you have nothing to lose. You're adjusted to the cars already.
I I don't know. That might have been a little bit extra, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of the.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just see how the Daytona 500 goes. Hopefully, it won't be like the
Yeah.
Clash, which the Clash you can't really bank that on. But
Because with 75, and half of them may been, I think a lot of it was them trying to get a feel for the car.
yeah, but and then the only thing that I would say about your Talladega, you saying that people weren't trying to ruin their chase, it's actually quite the opposite. It's a lot of people trying to save their chase at Talladega.
Yeah, well, this year they had a lot of guys with like 2, 3 points of the goods. So like, I'll just try and win in Kansas. Now that I can get like 40 points out and have to win at Kansas.
Yeah.
Unless your name was Alex Bowman. That was the only guy that was really on the bubble, had to win at Talladega.
But moving on, like I said, with Jimmy Johnson, I don't really see why we should have any real hate to him. Like the guy's won
It was a
7
non-point.
championships. He's had an almost spotless record in terms of wrecking somebody. I don't get why we have to overreact to that. And
And I hate to say this, but had to say this a couple years ago, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. caused that wreck, I would have blamed on Paul Menard. I'm a Dale Jr. fan, but that's just facts. It's Pence who does it. Not a lot of fans like Jimmy Johnson, so that's part of the reason. I think they hate Jimmy Johnson.
why would they hate Jimmy Johnson?
If it, I don't know. A lot of fans never liked him because he won so much back in the day, and they still don't like him. So I think it depends who does it in that situation, really. My opinion.
And I don't think there's too many Jimmy Johnson haters out there today, especially after last season. Well, out
There will
there
be.
before now, but now there is. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that's
this is
really the purpose.
Yeah, I won't get into that.
But anyways, the main topic that I've been wanting to talk about is the new AERO package, and this will take up most of the stream. And a lot of people have been negative about this. Radman, negative. David Land, I wouldn't say negative, but he had negative tendencies. Like you could kind of tell that he was against it. And the only real positive person out there was Eric Eustep. And
Basically, all the people on the podcast are very positive.
like
The
you,
like Black Flags was kind of 50-50. Danny B and Iceberg were pretty much for it too. They weren't like not as much as Eric was. Like he was.
podcast.
What?
I didn't know they were in our podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
But them guys did.
But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, I already forgot. That's just you break my train of thought sometimes. Oh, so a lot of people have kind of been negative. I guess apparently the podcast people were positive about it, but from what I've seen, a lot of people, at least video wise, have been pretty negative about it, and I think it's ridiculous. And I get where they're coming from as die-hard fans. They want to see skill over enjoyment is what I believe it is. Which the thing about Radman is it's kind of ironic how he was the one complaining about how boring the races are, and now they've done something about it, and he's just kind of reluctant about it. But and one of his main points was just it's not real racing, like it's easy. Well, they're fixing it, and he has a point, and we're just wait for the Gen 7, and that's the point. But I don't get why we're so against this new package. Why we're just like, so oh, yeah, we're reluctantly watching it. Well, it should be fun racing. I don't see uh I don't see where the racing isn't going to be fun, like unless it just completely flops. I think at least there's going to be a couple races that are going to be fun, and I think we really will see. I mean, especially at the beginning here in the first three races, Atlanta, and
They'll be
and
adjusting to it, so don't judge them. Don't go out of Atlanta and just say, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever." Give them
well,
ways until a
oh
couple
no,
races
no,
into
I'm
it
saying
to
I'm
adjust to it.
I'm I'm saying that these will probably be the better races because people are trying to get
Oh yeah,
a handle of the
there will be
cars.
better races.
Um, but I could see where they could be pretty bad. Like maybe let's say one driver gets a hold of it and then just pulls away. But they also could be really good as everyone's trying to get a handle of
Yeah,
the new car and stuff. So, and I think every race is really just going to be a new adventure to them because every track's going to handle differently with the
yeah.
pack,
And so I
no
would get
matter if
the
they're
package.
on the throttle for most of the time or not.
Yeah, and you also got to think these. But judging it off a test of Vegas, I can guarantee those drivers were not trying at that test. They probably all hate it. I know drivers hate testing. They don't even. It's
Right.
like the most boring thing in the world to do. So you can't tell me they're trying in those tests.
And we still have yet to see how it is on a 40 car pack.
That was like
And
what,
even in
15?
that small test session, the battle in the middle of the pack was really interesting. And
That was the part that was boring. Mid pack.
wait, are you referring to the new package or the old package?
The old package. That was like the most boring part.
So, you gotta be a little bit more specific there. But yeah, I thought the middle pack was really interesting. And if you think about it, in there, what was it, like 8 cars? It's going to be 5 to about 20 probably. Will be just going 3 wide, 2 wide all the time. And yes, I understand that's not the natural racing for the track, but if you're a casual fan and you're like, oh hey, there's a NASCAR race, let's go ahead and see what's going on. If you see Martin Truex Jr. winning Kentucky by 18 seconds, are you going to want to watch? I don't even want to watch. I turn off the TV by that point. Like, what's the point in watching? But if I see, Martin Truex maybe has a 1 second in Kentucky, and then you have second and third going at it, and third and fourth, and like fifth through 10th going at it, 2 and 3 wide, how can you not watch that unless you just don't care about NASCAR at all? I mean, as long as you have a little bit of interest, races like that are going to be entertaining. It's going to bring in more viewership. It's just a matter of, and I think what a lot of people they're saying, oh, just a truck guy like I don't know, Johnny Sauter could just come up and be one of the greatest drivers in the sport with good equipment. No, that's still not how it is. It's still going to take, it still takes skill. It just doesn't take as much as it did, and it's not permanent. If it was permanent, I would be right there with Radman, right there with David Land, and being negative about it. But the fact that it's going to be, what did they say, 2022 for Gen 7?
21, that's their point, hopefully, but that's their, that'd be the minimum, basically.
All right, so
that's the goal.
If that's when Gen 7, that means we have 2 seasons with this package. And 2 seasons with this package it could be maybe 2 of the best seasons we've seen in a while. I mean, now that's not saying much considering last season's snooze fest, with the exception of a couple races, which every year has been a snooze fest with the exception of a couple races, and disregarding super speedways and short tracks. But the fact that
name one good mile and a half race tied Chicagoland
last year was in Chicagoland were the top 2 races last year. I think that was a problem.
The Watkins Glen would be known as a boring race too, probably if Chase Elliott didn't win.
Do what?
I said if Chase Elliott didn't win. I don't remember much from Watkins Glen other than Chase Elliott winning.
Well,
that's what made it.
There was like a 2-way battle between him and Martin Truex.
Oh yeah, the Truex fan outgassed.
Even if you put Kyle Busch in that situation, it's still an interesting race.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big fan of it because Road War was a good one. That was the only road course I've ever seen that like.
I kind of thought about what I was saying, and I don't mean to hate on Real Mac, wrong person, Radman and David Land, but I just kind of wanted to point to them as people are being really negative about this package and not really even giving it a chance. And it just kind of frustrates me how they haven't really given this package a chance, and hopefully the package proves them wrong, and I think it will. I really do. And I get that it doesn't. I guess it doesn't look really cool having the big. God dang it! I'm an idiot.
Big three.
Wings on the back. Is that what they're
Yeah.
called? All right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Now I want to be like discredited because I don't know what the
Spoiler.
back. Spoiler. Yeah, that's why I knew it wasn't wing. That's all right. Anyways, but I guess that doesn't look cool. I kind of like it. I think it kind of fits in. But I don't know. In my opinion, as long as it's entertaining, what's wrong with it? Like
It's not like you're not going to see this like talent. It's still talent in the car. You're not going to see Corey LaJoy come out nowhere and win.
Right.
I mean, it's still going to take. Like, I don't think it's really going to like affect. Like, I just don't think it's basically going to be maybe where you can't have like an 18-second lead versus maybe like a 1 to 2 second lead over like an 18-second lead. I don't think you're just not going to see that. But you're not going to see it be bunched up like they're at Bristol or Daytona, Talladega. I think that's what fans think it's going to be, and it's not.
Right. Yeah, and I think that I don't see how in any way, shape, or form that can be bad for the sport. How you could not enjoy that? Well, how can you not enjoy racing? Like you cannot.
It might add a little bit more skill because you have to pass more guys.
Right. In that sense, yeah. But yeah, you can't tell me you will not, assuming this package works, there's no way you can tell me that this year is less interesting than last year in terms of racing. If the package works the way that it appears it is going to, you're not going to be able to tell me that, and you can't tell anybody that. But at the end of the day, it is. We haven't even seen it on the track besides Las Vegas, so it could be a flop. If it's a flop, then I guess my opinions are flawed. So I don't know. I think it's just going to be a work in progress as the season goes on. I think the product will get better, but I think you might also see people get the hang of it and maybe get away. I don't know.
Well, teams will find tricks. Like crew chiefs will figure, okay, this worked, this didn't work. All right, this worked, this makes us faster, and they'll just keep building on from that.
Right. And it's just going to go to really the team that,
adjust to it,
figures it out the best. And potential for that is forward. Because I know they have a new car, but if you think about it this way, they made their new car and based it off of the new package, which I know they started development before the package was announced, but they still were able. I'm sure they were able to add some modifications to the car besides what they had to do. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm sure they were able to find something that maybe Chevy and Toyota weren't able to find because they weren't really able to develop until the end of the season.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I think I don't understand why it would be bad.
Can't get any worse.
Who cares as long as it's fun? Like, okay, if it's like to the point where people are undeserving,
like Corey LaJoy wins the championship. Okay,
I like how Corey LaJoy is like always your example. Like I think you've used him as an example 3 times today.
He's just like the first average driver.
Like yeah, but I get your point. Like if somebody like Corey LaJoy goes out there and wins multiple races, like you never know. Maybe he's in that position for whatever reason. He's a strategy, but if somebody like Corey LaJoy or David Reagan, average drive. Okay, David Reagan is actually pretty good, but driver
budget team.
You wouldn't see in victory lane on the other package. If you see them start winning a lot more than maybe they should, then I think the package is too easy to use. But and one thing I could point to, I'm not sure if Radman said this or if David Lance said this, but is the package going to be to where once you get out in that top 5, you're not going to fall out of it so long as you have draft, right? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
could it be kind of like Daytona in that once you lose the draft, you're done for?
Yeah. I have a feeling we'll get to about maybe if like 4 or 5 races into NASCAR makes we'll have to make a little adjustments to it.
Right, and I think what we are trying to predict it, yet all we've seen is that Las Vegas footage. I think I'm probably going to be wrong. I'm kind of extreme on the good side, and I think I've kind of been sort of just not even looking at the other side, the negative side, and it really we can't make any predictions until we see it.
Yeah.
You can't really
But
predict what a new package is going to look like because
I mean,
you could say the All Star race, but it's not the same package as the All Star race.
it's a version of it.
It's a
based off it.
reminiscence. It's a reminiscence of it. Yeah, right.
And the one thing I will say, the only thing I can say is how like Xfinity has more horsepower. However, at the end of the day, I think Cup cars will figure it out and get faster than Xfinity. I really don't care. It makes it less horsepower can bring in new manufacturers because it's cheaper to build engines.
That was going to be my next Bridgeway. Yeah, that could bring. I feel like Dodge is going to come back. I think that's a given. I think we all can agree that.
I think the only other one you can really see is Honda, maybe. Right? Is that the one they've been talking about? Honda. Yeah, I don't really see like you're not going to see like I can't even think of a good example right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll. What? Who was it? Was it Hendrick that said that? That new manufacturer. There's some. Or I thought somebody said like what? Like there's actually a timetable for when there could be a new manufacturer coming in.
It was rumored that Dodge is going to be back in 2019, and we saw that worked out.
Well, I think their issue was probably they heard about the new package and decided to wait another year because they had to.
Well, then they had to find a team that's not under contract with a manufacturer. Like they have like little Xfinity
I would
teams.
say maybe a front row. I almost said furniture. Could be
Yeah,
furniture.
you ain't gonna see like Hendrick switch to Ford or Dodge. You're not gonna see Penske want it anymore.
Yeah, there isn't going to be. They're going to have to find a team like maybe front row and build that team to maybe a Joe Gibbs. Like if you think about it, Joe Gibbs.
Dodge could give him funding for that.
Toyota.
Remember, Gibbs used to be Chevy. Like, they were just as.
You could see a deal like that from a team like Front Row or what's another kind of
GMS.
Yep. GMS could be actually a really big candidate if you think about it because they're not even in the Cup Series.
They looked into it, but they've always. I think they're waiting to find that right driver to come up with.
Right, and I think if they can find that, and I think if they can get the timing right, I think they could they could switch to Dodge, and come into the Cup Series. But yeah, that's another thing about the package. It should bring in new manufacturers, which again, even if they're not American made, it's just
I don't care about manufacturers.
Fun to watch. I don't really care, but I don't see why.
I do, but I don't.
It's
not American.
I don't think we should get to the point where we have Dodge, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Dodge, Mazda, Nissan, all of them in one. But if we can get Dodge and a Nissan, I think Dodge definitely needs to come, and then maybe Nissan, Mazda, or one of those three as another one. And I think 5 is really as far as we should go because then you just get to the point where you got a bunch of different cars coming, and it's just I don't know. Maybe it'd work, but I just feel like putting too many manufacturers might confuse fans.
Cadillac also recently built some low X24 cars. That could be an interesting one to look out for too.
Who?
Cadillac. They've been putting cars in like sports car racing.
Right. But that's really. Do you have anything else to say about the 2019 package?
Just give it a chance and don't judge it after one race.
Same. Give it. I'd say about mid-season we'll know what we got.
I mean,
and I do want to.
If it turns out to be bad, feel free to call us out. I'll be fine with
call us out. Yeah, I'll be fine. But I'm very optimistic about it, and I do.
I'm not saying I'm not going out to say it's the next thing ever, but it's at least give it a chance. That's all I'm asking.
And I didn't mean to kind of attack Radman. or David Land, as I realized I kind of did. So I apologize for that. Any
But
fans if it's
you two are free to come on the show and explain your opinion.
yeah, and we have a debate. Um, but yeah, so we're going to kind of end it off, and I know this is kind of shorter, but again, there's not much. We already talked about the clash. We talked
Well,
about
one thing we talk about is the new inspection policy.
right. The new inspection policy. You can go ahead and explain that.
The basically if Kevin Harvick, I'm using Kevin Harvick example because it happened to a lot to him last year. If Kevin Harvick is fails post race inspection and he fails inspection, whoever came in second gets the points, the trophy, and everything. Versus the Oval where he's just didn't get the points, but still got the money. Now, I think that's going to really benefit the little because it's if you that happened to you like a mid Daytona in July, that really doesn't affect you. Say you fail inspection some race in July and you already clinch a spot in the chase, you cheated, you still get money, you're already in the chase, but doesn't matter. As you can see, I'm alone and I ran out of stuff to talk about. It's always fun. It also announced qualifying rule. It's really it's also going to play into effect with drafting and see teammates working together in qualifying. So I think that's going to help. But not help, but that's going to make a difference in seeing like strategy being played in qualifying.
My apologies there. Had some technical difficulties. Um, we I'm back. So, Caleb, what were you talking about? Good to hear. Good to hear. I apologize for that. So, anyways, I believe we were talking about the rules change. So, I don't know, but I think we're just going to end it off right there. It seems like there are some issues going on, so we apologize. We're still trying to get better at this. I hope you guys did enjoy, and we definitely need some improvements. Next week we will be previewing the Daytona 500 and stuff like that. And a quick little snippet. Uh, Hendrick got the top four. William Byron got the pole. Should be very interesting to see how it goes, how it ends up. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Not sure what time yet, but I will let you guys know as soon as possible.